Thank you, committee members, for getting in here on an early morning. Appreciate you. Welcome to the fifth meeting of the 2025 Senate Standing Committee on Veterans, Military Affairs, and Public Protection. Please make sure if you have a cell phone, please silence those at this time. If you're interested in making any comments, please make sure you sign up at the podium there. Just a reminder, no signs are permitted inside the committee rooms. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Berg, Senator Boswell, Senator Higdon, Senator Nunn, Senator Richardson, Senator Smith, Senator Tishner, Senator Wilson, Senator Yates, Vice Chair Reed, Chair Deneen.
Here. We do have a quorum and are duly constituted to do business. Senator Nunn, would you please lead us in the pledge, and Senator Richardson, would you take care of a prayer afterwards? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father in heaven, we are grateful to be gathered here this morning. We're grateful for this building, the opportunities that we have to serve fellow citizens of the Commonwealth. We're grateful for all those who come, who advocate. Help us make the best and informed decisions. We are thankful for thy guiding hand. We are thankful for these blessings be upon us.
Amen. All right, today we have two bills up for consideration. We have House Bill 131 and House Bill 136. At this time, I'd like to call Representative Michael Meredith to come to the table to present House Bill 131. Bring any guest you may have with you. You know the routine. Please, sir, introduce yourself and your guest for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Michael Meredith, representing the 19th House District.
Good morning, Gracie Kelly, Director of Government Affairs for the Kentucky League of Cities.
And Joe Bear, President of Kentucky Professional Firefighters.
Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. In 2014, we did city reclassification reform, and there were a few things that we didn't touch in that classification reform. And those were things dealing with collective bargaining agreements, things dealing with taxes at the time, things dealing with alcohol laws in cities across the Commonwealth. What it has created is a problem where certain former second-class cities cannot change their firefighter schedules unless there's a collective bargaining agreement. So in Bowling Green, the city that I represent, they don't have collective bargaining for their firefighters, and they are stuck with only the option for a 24 on, 48 off schedule. So they have been looking at exploring other options based on talking to firefighters around the country, creating a better work-life balance within their career. And so what they have asked for is that we would allow them to have a couple of alternate schedules that they could explore. And that is an on 48, off 96 schedule, or what they call a 1-3-2-3 schedule. So on your first day, you'd work 24, you'd be off 72. On your second day, you'd work 48 and be off 72. So that's what the bill does. We know of no opposition. The League of Cities and the firefighters have worked with us on this since the summer of last year, and we think it's a good piece of legislation and would appreciate your support of it today.
Second.
We have a motion on the bill and a second. Before we call for a vote, is there any question or discussion issues to discuss before we move on the vote? Go ahead, Senator Richardson.
Just real quick, Representative Meredith, thank you for doing this. This doesn't change any fire department that is comfortable with what they're doing already. It just allows extra flexibility if they so choose to.
That's exactly right. It is permissive language, does not mandate anything, just allows for changes to their schedule.
Senator Reed. Good. Senator Boswell.
I'm gonna support your bill. I'm not really sure why we're involved in this, but I know you've studied it and everything else, so I'm good.
All right, at this time, no more questions, discussions? Mr. Secretary, call the roll.
Senator Berg, Senator Boswell, Senator Higdon, Senator Nunn, Senator Reed, Senator Richardson, Senator Smith, Senator Tishner, Senator Wilson, Senator Yates, Chair Deneen.
Aye. The bill passes unanimously, and we'll move on to the floor with favorable consideration. Thank you, Representative
Chairman,
Meredith.
members of
You
the committee.
always do your due diligence, and you're always well prepared. And I want to thank you for helping our firefighters in this manner, and thank you for helping those second-class cities find a better way, maybe to even recruit additional firefighters with options on their scheduling. So thank you very much, sir. This is a great bill. We look forward to passing it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next up, we have House Bill 136. Sponsor is the Representative Jared Bowman. Sir, would you please introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Jared Ballman, State Representative, House District 28.
The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the committee. I deeply appreciate the opportunity to present House Bill 136 this morning with over 1,000 bills this short session. I understand the privilege I have to be before you today. I'd like to introduce my guest, Mr. Josh Crawford, as well. Go ahead, sir, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Josh Crawford, Director of Criminal Justice Initiatives with the Georgia Center for Opportunity.
Thank you.
So I'd like to just start by reminding the committee here. I'm sure you remember passing House Bill 5 last year, and I know that there was a lot of accountability in that bill. I'm very proud that it was the toughest on-crime policy passed by any state legislature last year, and I'm even more happy to report that this year homicides in Louisville are already down 30%, non-fatal shootings are down 40%, and carjackings are down 43%. So I'm excited about that data, and I hope that it continues to trend in that direction. But to help ensure that it trends in that direction and really to follow up on commitments that we made as we went through the legislative process on House Bill 5 to ensure that the state of Kentucky has the best-in-class rehabilitation and reentry services for our Kentuckians that are incarcerated. It's very important to us that we deliver on that commitment. And so that's what you see in House Bill 136, a first step towards that commitment for us to gather data from the Department of Corrections that is going to allow the General Assembly to make informed decisions and really in a laser-focused way apply our resources. What does that mean? It means our people, our dollars, apply it to where it's making an impact. And I'm going to turn it over now to Mr. Josh Crawford because he didn't get an opportunity to speak very much in the House committee, and I'd like to give him that opportunity today to talk about maybe a little bit more of the mechanics of how this really works in practice.
Easy now. Can you make sure your mic's turned on? Pull it closer to you, please, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. There you go.
We are dealing with the most important thing in a democratic society. We are dealing with the location where the government acts upon the individual with the intent, often, to deprive him of liberty and sometimes of life. Nothing should be more sacred, more important, more deserving of our respect, more expressive of our values than the criminal justice system. I would add it's also the primary mechanism by which governments protect families and keep communities safe. As the voice of the people, the General Assembly has been tasked with building and tweaking this system. Doing so means adhering to timeless truths, making changes cautiously, because the stakes are in many ways higher and can literally be life and death. Unfortunately, here in Kentucky, our ability to assess and make changes to our criminal justice system too often has to rely on anecdotes and incomplete data. This is what House Bill 136 seeks to address. It aims to enhance accountability and ensure that policymakers have access to comprehensive corrections data. The bill formalizes an annual reporting requirement enabling lawmakers to analyze trends in sentencing, parole, and recidivism. It deals with everything from length of stay for first-time offenders to comprehensive parolee and supervision data outcomes, including demographic information, involvement in rehabilitative programs while incarcerated, and then a tremendous amount of data dealing with what happens with an individual once they're released, what their life course becomes once they're released. And so with this data, the General Assembly would be able to make informed decisions about what programs to fund, what programs to not fund, what approaches to take. Are sentences too long, too short, just right, the sort of Goldilocks of it all. Unfortunately, we currently don't have this data, but it's not uncommon for states to have this data. Many of our peer states, Tennessee, Florida, Pennsylvania, California even, collects most of this data already. And so collecting and reporting this data in a comprehensive way will give you all the ability to make informed decisions in a way that currently does not exist.
We have a motion on the bill. We have a second. Have any further discussions, questions? Mr. Secretary, call the roll.
Senator Byrd,
I'm going to vote yes to this, but I do want to say unequivocally that the crime rate dropped before HB 5, that we passed the single worst crime bill in the state of Kentucky last year, that it has negatively influenced and impacted many, many people in this state, and that this data should have been collected beforehand. So yes, but a little bit too late.
Senator Boswell, Senator Higdon, Senator Nunn, Senator Reed, Senator Richardson, Senator Smith, Senator Tishner.
Just a comment briefly. Thank you for your work on this. Thank you for your work on HB 5. There's a little tweak I would be interested in pursuing, so I'll just talk about that with you afterwards. Thanks.
Senator Wilson, Senator Yates.
I'm an aye vote, and I appreciate this information. I know there's several people, and I'd like to put together with the nonprofit caucus that would be very interested in working with you. Cookie in the works and some other things about reentry. This is an important step. So.
Chair Deneen.
Aye, and let me say this. I'm very proud of the work that you've been doing, and I'm very proud of the fact that not only are you doing that work, but with this bill, we are able to use the data. It's never too late to collect pertinent data to make future decisions. And I believe this bill will give us the data to help us craft future bills and funding opportunities, as you have said. And I think it opens the door for opportunities for other organizations to come on board based on factual data. And I'm looking forward to this bill moving on to the floor. And at this time, I will say that it is passed unanimously, and I look forward to seeing it on the floor of the Senate. So thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you for your guest, and I appreciate the work you've put in on this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman,
Senator
and
Higdon?
members of the committee.
Yes, Senator Higdon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Record an aye vote on House Bill 131.
Done so. All right, the last thing on today's agenda. First, thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. We have one more announcement to make. The Kentucky National Guard briefing and aerial flight of Frankfurt for legislators. Please be reminded that tomorrow is the RSVP deadline, March 7th. So please make sure you reach out if you intend to participate in that event.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
still understand you and Senator Reed are repelling.
You know what? If they offer, I'm all in. What about you, Reed? All right. All right. Thank you all very much at this moment. We are adjourned.